Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Tuesday morning, the 9th of March. Yeah, can't believe it. We're enjoying some pretty wonderful weather right now. My shoulder is warm in the sun, so I wonder where you guys are and if you're frozen. Sorry. Yeah, so how was the weekend? I had a very chill weekend. My husband actually ended up going away for the weekend and getting some alone time. So I was here with the kids, driving them all over the place, and I actually repainted my dining room chairs. So that was my project. I started on Friday, and last night they were in the house. So I got them all done, and my chairs are each chair is a different color. So yes, that's what I did. I have an orange chair, of course, because my favorite color is orange. And my husband has a green chair. My son has a yellow, like a mustard yellow chair, and then my daughter has a kind of aqua blue chair. So I was painting chairs all weekend and hanging out, driving the kiddos everywhere. And let's see. Yeah, it was fun because my husband hasn't been away for a while. Like, I go away way more than he does. And so it's hard to convince him to go away. Like, you need to get away. Go. So he got away. It was really good for him. And yeah, I think sometimes when you can give someone permission to do what they need, it's really empowering. So that was good for me. But I also had a total mom fail this morning. Yeah, I just didn't wake up my son, and he was like a half an hour late to his first class, and I don't know what it is. I think, my son, truth be told, he really is not enjoying school. He's a 16-year-old boy who's just ready to be done with school. And I think because he's not motivated with school, it sounds so bad. For him, he doesn't make it a priority, and so I just totally failed. Of course, my daughter was up and ready, but she's jazzed about school. So anyway, just mom fail, mom fails just aren't a good way to start the day. So that's me this morning. Yeah, I wonder if, there's people that need stuff from you, and sometimes you do a really great job and sometimes you don't. That's me this morning. And we are talking about speaking up for people today. So maybe it's on point. Our chapter for today is called Speak Up, and it's from season 5, episode 11, The Cheaters. Oh, this episode is crazy. I don't know if you remember it, but Andy's having trouble in school, and Nellie's just such this great student, and Andy asks Nellie how she does it and if she could help him. And then he realizes that she's a cheater. And so she basically convinces him to cheat and hide that she's cheating, and it just all goes downhill from there. So I think the interesting thing about this lesson and where I see this episode, like what we can learn from it, is that sometimes we have to speak up. Sometimes we just have to take a stand. And yeah. Anyway, let's read it and then we'll talk about it. The quote is from Andy Garvey, and it says, "Albert doesn't study that much. It just comes easy to him." I grew up thinking I wasn't smart. I did well in school, but learning didn't come easily. My twin sister, on the other hand, was a naturally gifted student. I never felt good enough or smart enough, at least compared to her. Andy felt the same way about his best friend, Albert. No amount of studying could make his grades soar like his friends. When we find ourselves in this situation, we often need someone to believe in us, someone to speak up and be proud of us, even if our efforts don't rise to the highest mark. I found that person in 5th grade, my teacher. He wove lessons of compassion and grace seamlessly with history and English. One day in the staff lounge, a fellow teacher asked him if he had the smart twin. Imagine that. Without hesitation, and possibly with a smirk of indignation, he answered, "Yes, I have Wendy." He shared that story with my mom, but she didn't tell me about it until years later. I was struggling through high school, trying to compete with my sister who always came out on top. When my teacher passed away suddenly from cancer, my mom shared the story with me as we were driving to his memorial service. I never got to thank him, Mr. Mumford, for standing up for me, but his words helped me through the next 2 years before graduation. At times, we all need someone to defend us, someone who believes we are significant, no matter what our accomplishments. Ironically, Albert was the one to stand up for Andy. He defended Andy and exposed the cheater in Nellie Olson. Let's all speak courage into someone who has to work extra hard, not just in school, but in life. Be on the lookout for people who never feel that they will be good enough or smart enough. They need us. And the verse is from Isaiah 1:17, and it says, "Learn to do good, work for justice, help the down and out, stand up for the homeless, go to bat for the defenseless." And that is speak up. You know, I think sometimes, that was just like the smallest little thing that my teacher did. Oh, what a difference. I just couldn't actually believe what a difference that was. I feel like it's really dark. Can you guys see me? I can barely see the camera, so maybe that's better. Yeah. Anyway, maybe my eyes are failing me. Is that better? I feel like I can barely see you, but I'm not sure if it's just my face. Like being blinded by the sun. You know how that is? How's that? Yeah, sometimes we just need somebody like outside of our normal circle to stand up for us, I know a lot of you know that it wasn't easy for me to be a twin. And sometimes when I think about it now, I can't help but think of my nephews who are twins. And I don't know if you know the story about my nephews, but Cody and Tucker were born like at 20 weeks or something. They were tiny little preemies that were like a pound. They barely made it. And now they're about 9. 9? Oh my gosh, I can't believe they're 9. And it's just kind of come out that Cody, who was the smaller one, who had a lot of health problems, a lot of surgery. Anyway, it's come out that he has dyslexia. And basically he's just having a really hard time reading and writing because all of the letters just get mixed up and his brain just doesn't read it the right way. And yeah, I can imagine that he's going through, gosh, the same thing that I was going through, probably even harder. But most likely, definitely harder than I went through. Just having that hard thing of not feeling like you're good enough, And they found out he has dyslexia, and now he has this like special teacher and this new way of reading, and he's finally like feeling good about himself. You know what I mean? So cool. Anyway, I'm imagining, I don't really know much about this new way of reading or his teacher, but I imagine his teacher being just a little bit like Mr. Mumford was to me. Although I think that this teacher is probably encouraging him and talking to him even now, which would have been incredible for me to know that Mr. Mumford believed in me when I was in 5th grade. You know what I mean? I didn't know about it until I was a junior in high school, I believe, is when he passed away, and that's when my mom told me that story. And I just wonder if we can be like that person, and I just keep praying that Cody's teacher, whoever his teacher is, his reading teacher, is that person who's just speaking up for him and speaking life into him. Yeah, I think we can all do that, especially in an area that we don't feel strong in, And for those of you who might feel like, ooh, I don't know what I would say, it's interesting. I just started studying the book of Jeremiah, and I've read it before, but I've never actually studied it. And I just started it yesterday. And yesterday in chapter 1, it's so interesting because God basically appoints Jeremiah and says, you're going to be my prophet to, instruct the nation of Israel. And Jeremiah's first response is, huh? Me? What? I can't speak. I don't know what I would say. It's interesting because how many times do we feel like that? Like, ooh, I'd love to make a difference, but I don't know what I would say, And God said, don't worry about it. Chill out. I'll tell you what to say. I will put the words in your mouth. So if you ever feel like that, just know that God will give you the words to say. You just have to say, okay, I'm willing to speak up for this person. So anyway, super interesting. I don't know if there's somebody in your life who needs an advocate, who needs someone to not even advocate to the school or to the court system or to whatever, but even to just encourage them personally. Hey, I see what you're doing and you're doing awesome, or whatever it is, but just someone who believes in them, because it feels a lot of times at least it felt this way for me, as I was trying so hard and no one ever noticed how hard I was trying. You know what I mean? You just need one person to say, I see what you're doing and you're doing a good job. And to actually hear it out loud. You know what I mean? So anyway, who's somebody that you could do that for? And if you don't feel like you have the ability or the words to speak up for someone, just know that God will give you the words. And I want to say too, is that in this episode, Nellie could seem like the villain, right? She was totally manipulating Andy. And it might not be somebody who's actually doing that life. In my case, sister wasn't the villain. She wasn't doing anything wrong to me. It's just life and circumstances. And you need someone to speak up against just life, how things just are. Not against someone or some villain like Nellie Olson, Life can be enough of a villain. So what can you do? Yeah, I I think, with my epic mom fail this morning of not waking up my son, maybe I need to speak some kind of courage into him to care about school. We only have a couple months left of the year, and I don't know if any of you guys have teenagers that are just really, this is a joke. I wonder what I could say to help him know that he's doing a good job, even though school sometimes seems pointless. Yeah. Anyway, that's it for me today. Who are you going to speak up for? If you don't feel like you have what it takes, know that God will give you the words. So that's it for me today. I hope you're doing great, and I'll see you next week. Okay, bye. Love ya.